All right, this week I'm actually going to dismiss the fact, or the myth, I should say, not the fact. I'm going to dismiss the myth of eating healthy is too expensive. And so most people use that example as an excuse not to eat healthy. Like, oh, eating healthy is too expensive. Remember, you're going to spend money on food anyway. So, like, for instance, I'll start off with some good old pork chops I picked up yesterday. So I was like a tag here. You can see like a local store. I went 6.35 pounds, $1.99 a pound for $12.64. So you're gonna tell me and that right there will be for I could cook up for lunch for like the whole week and everything. So basically, for $13, I got lunch for like the whole week. I got a protein source for lunch, reiterate the whole week. So you're telling me like you'd rather spend $13 on buy two get one free for Doritos for the family packs versus getting that instead? You're going to be spending money on food regardless, so you want to sit there and actually spend money on making sure that you get the healthy foods instead of like the trash and everything that you can pick up in especially in the center sections of the grocery store. So the adage that you want to go on the outside of the grocery store, basically the shop there, like you start in the produce section, meat department, seafood, and go all the way up to the other end into the dairy. So another thing is with blueberries, the store that I went to yesterday, the Market 32, they have a 3 for 10 deal. So you can get 3 of these for $10 and everything. So basically for $30 I can get a little over a week's worth of blueberries. So I usually have one of these a day and the way I eat is I'll take these for dinner. So they also have apples, $6 for a 5-pound bag and everything. So $6 for 5 pounds of apples and everything, and the phrase "an apple a day keeps the doctor away." So you're gonna spend $6 on a bunch of Hostess Twinkies instead of apples. Really? Come on. Now another thing is Market 32. What they do is they have usually for the regular, these ones are the 20 grams of protein for the Oikos yogurt. So I picked up these ones. What they normally do is they have ones for 15 grams of protein in them, and they usually run a 10 for 10 deal on those. You basically are getting those for a dollar. So you're getting basically for $7 you can get a yogurt that you eat per day for a whole week. So $7 for a yogurt versus $7 for a couple 2 liters of soda, and you can jack yourself up with the soda. There's another example. So now I do use the mayonnaise for the tuna that I do get. So for instance, I usually get a 12 pack here of the tuna, and it goes $11 at the or at 10.87 or something. So $11 for 12 cans of tuna. So you're spending less than $1 a can for tuna. So you can sit here, and also what I do is yesterday I had picked up some bread from a local convenience store. That's along with a gallon of milk. I spent $10 on those, mainly because the bread is a little more expensive. Being a convenience store, you're going to pay a little more, but you also have a chance to get a 2-pack of the Fryhoppers bread instead that I get at Sam's Club. You're looking at $4 or $5 for a two pack of that. So it's I'll reiterate, you can sit there and get bread and milk for what I did yesterday for $10 versus spending $10 on a couple pints of Ben and Jerry's ice cream, and you're just gonna sit there and eat the whole pint in one sitting, because that's basically what most people do. And I've done that myself in the past. So you sit there with the whole pint, you just sit there and mow down on it, and you're going to be eating 1,100 calories in just one pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream. So you pick up 2 of those, and you're in a couple days you like well over your caloric intake for most days of your activity, especially someone like me who's like busy from like the time I get up to the time I go to bed and everything. So that not only jacks you up like caloric wise, and basically gets your energy balance like out of whack because you're bringing in more calories than you're expending. You're spending more money on something that doesn't really serve you versus like the milk and bread that I just showed. So like another thing is like that's great is like these Fairlife ones that I just recently started to pick up. Like I can get an 8-pack of these at Sam's Club for like $25 and everything. So Athlean X recently did like a video where he broke down like the cost per gram of protein. So this one is actually pretty like cheap per gram of protein. So like you might scoff at like oh, it's $26 and everything for 8 of these, but you do the math, it comes out to like something like 13-14 cents a gram of protein for these. So these are like great for like replace like a protein shake, sort of like the protein powder that you use. Now I do use protein powder. I mean, I do use Athlean X's protein, and like this is like as like a post workout shake. So with protein powder, you can consider it either a supplement or a food source, depending on how you look at it. Because like you could look at it as a food source because it's a source of protein and everything. You can also look at it as a supplement because you're supplementing it as like a protein and everything. So these are just some of the things that I also get. So, and now I'm big on eating fish and everything. So like this isn't like one I got at the Market 32 place I've mentioned. This is like $10 for 2 fillets. So like you're looking at like $5 a fillet. So what I'll do is I'll cook these up for like dinner. So what's great about these is that like when you look at the actual like label and everything, these say that it has 34 grams of protein and everything. So for $10 getting like 68 grams of protein, that's not actually too bad. And so like I said, I'll have one of these a day for dinner. So like that actually works like pretty good. So like I ended up like spending like $96 at Market 32 yesterday for like for the like pork chops that I picked up. I picked up a 5-pound bag of apples. I also picked up like these. They were running like a deal on these, so like they were like 30 cents off or something. So like normally these are like $1.49, and these are the like I said, the 20-gram ones. So these ones usually are a little more expensive than the 15-gram ones that like they did the Oikos. And the Oikos, the 15 grams, like are the ones that they usually run the 10 for 10 deal, and like these are usually priced at like $1.79. So they tend to be like a little more expensive to get the extra 5 grams of protein, but like either or wouldn't work. So like you may not necessarily like this brand, but you may want to go like a Greek yogurt or like Chobani. So there's another option. So like when you're down in the dairy aisle, they do have several different options for yogurts. These ones are usually the ones like the Oikos are the ones that I go with, and I've been going with for months, if not years, because like I've mentioned, the 10 for 10 deal that Market 32 that I get. So you might not have the grocery stores that I mentioned, but like you can go into like the grocery stores in your area and check out the deals they have. So this is pretty much like the stuff that like I'll eat. So like I'm more based on like the animal side of the spectrum and everything. So like when you're looking at like how to eat, like you got, like I've mentioned before, like your two extremes, like your complete animal based with vegan, your complete plant based with vegan, animal based with carnivore. And so I tend to be more animal based, even though not completely. So like for me, like with the stuff that I've showed and everything, I do tend to do have carbs, but it tends to be more towards fruit and everything. I don't eat that much, if any, veggies and everything, because like for me, veggies are kind of like I can take them or leave them. So like if I'm at like a party or something where like there's a veggie platter, I'll just sit there and snack on those and stuff. So like it's like that's for me. So like for me, like a high protein, higher fat type of approach works. So this is where the elimination diet comes into play. So I've done this like over the course of like several years, where like I've kind of refined how I eat. And so like I said, like a high protein, higher fat type of diet works for me. So but like I still do eat the carbs and everything. So like the milk has some carbs in it, the apples, the blueberries, and of course the bread that I use for the tuna sandwiches that I make. Those also have like carbs in them. So, but you might have to like if you're on the plant side of like the spectrum, like being completely plant-based with vegan, or if you're a vegetarian, you might have to look at this and be like, okay, well, he's biased towards animal-based because that's what works for him. So I have to sit here and use this as an example. Like, okay, he's on that side of the spectrum, I'm on this side, so I kind of have to take like this as an example and see how I can tweak it to fit what works for me. So I've been kind of hesitant to kind of show like what I eat and everything, because like a lot of times like when people come across stuff like this is what I eat in a day, or like or type of videos, people tend to like, oh yes, I want to eat exactly like that because so and so looks like that, so I want to look exactly like them. What you need to do is take like things like, especially this video, with like a grain of salt, and be like, okay, well, I've done my elimination diet and I have found that being a vegetarian works great for me. So he's sitting here pointing out like a lot of like the animal-based products that he eats and everything. So like I have to sit here and kind of tweak it to be able to fit like find deals and be able to like get the kind of fit into how I eat as a vegetarian, or as an example. So these are like kind of like stuff that I show that to show that like, look, eating healthy isn't expensive and everything. So like I said, I spent $96 yesterday at Market 32 grocery store that I usually go to. Plus I spent like an extra $10 to run down to the convenience store like after the fact of pretty much at the end of the day, after I was getting everything else done, to get bread and milk and everything. So like the milk itself is like $3.29 a gallon, and like the convenience stores that I picked that up at, they do have like what's called like a milk club, where like you buy 10 get one free type of deal. So like you want to look out for deals like that too as well. So I'll reiterate that like eating healthy isn't expensive. So like for a whole week's worth of food, I spent like less than $115 this week and everything. So you can sit here and spend $115 on healthy food, or you can sit here and sit there and spend $115 on like Doritos and Ben and Jerry's, and like the examples that I use, and those are going to be gone in like probably like 2 or 3 days, because like I'll use the Pringles as an example. Like they literally have like the slogan that you like once you like start eating, you become addicted to them. Like Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop. You're going to go through a lot more of that like garbage food a lot faster, so you're going to end up spending a lot more money than you would on food like this, because you're going to be a lot more satisfied with the healthy type of food. So again, like these are just examples of like what you can do to look for deals and stuff, and like be able to eat healthily. Now obviously like you can't necessarily like get all your micronutrients covered by any and every single diet. So what you want to do is like going back to supplementation video, is to supplement with stuff to make sure you're getting like the micronutrients. Now like one thing I do is like I pick up multivitamin. This one I can pick up at Sam's Club. You do this kind of as like an insurance policy to make sure you're getting like the micronutrients that you want to get. So you also like another thing that like the second thing that I usually say, like when you want to get into supplementation, make sure you get stuff, is like a good old fish oil. So like you want to look at like get like a good quality fish oil as well. So that's like 2 of the 3 that I usually recommend. And like another one is vitamin D. Those are the 3 that I recommend that you supplement with regardless. So that way you got your bases covered. So now, someone like me, yes, I do use a pre-workout for my workouts and everything. You don't need that, especially if you're not like working out as intensely as someone like me. But you can use it. That's an optional one. So like another good idea would be like a joint supplement. You can get a joint supplement like this, or like you can pick up like something like turmeric. It says that like it could be beneficial to help for joint health and everything. So those ones are optional and everything. So like another popular supplement that people use is creatine for lifting and everything. There's another option that you can do for supplementation. So when it comes to supplementation though, you got to look at your diet first and your nutrition and make sure that you're eating healthy and everything to make sure you got all your bases covered, at least for your macronutrients, making sure you're getting in enough protein, you're getting in like a healthy fast, and you're getting in good carb sources like the blueberries and apples and bread that I showed. The supplementation will come in and kind of like fill those gaps and everything. So like I showed like the three that I always say you should take regardless of the multivitamin, the fish oil, and the vitamin D, because like vitamin D is like a common deficiency. So this is the stuff that like this kind of show that like that eating healthy is actually cheaper than it would be to buy like all the shit that you buy in the grocery stores. And if you look at it in the long run, it actually pays off too, because like I said, you have to spend money to buy food and everything for yourself. So are you going to sit here and buy junk and spend extra every week buying shit, and then decades down the road when you're in your 50s and 60s and 70s, you're spending several $100s in medical bills for medication and doctor's visits and all that and everything because you decided to trash yourself with that shitty food that you've been eating forever? Or are you going to spend the money to get healthy food and not necessarily have to spend all the money later in life in the medical and bills and for medication, doctor's visits and stuff like that? So now there are no guarantees that this will happen, because something could pop up later in life that like you could have like a genetic predisposition to something where you do get like some type of cancer or something, and it could pop up. But this does definitely reduce your chances of getting that later in life. So it's like the question is like, why not spend $125, $150 a week on healthy food a week instead of junk, or quite possibly $200 a week on junk, and then have to spend have the increased possibility of spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in medical bills later in life and everything. So this is just the kind of like a drive across the point of like, eating healthy is actually not only cheaper in the short term, but cheaper in the long term for your health, and it would actually be like great, beneficial for you, because like nutrition is important, because like the phrase "you are what you eat" and everything. So you got to consider yourself: am I going to be a ding dong, or am I going to be a blueberry or an apple type of deal? So this is why nutrition is so important. And so this is like just showing examples of what you can do to be able to eat healthily and not break the bank when it comes to eating.